And you were there, and you were there. You ready? I'm ready. You ready?
Yep.
There, I'll make myself even louder. There we go. 30% more zilch. I know the math on that really doesn't work. Come on in, come on in, come on in. So we are at a crossroads. Well, we're always at a crossroads, aren't we? I have not really come to a confusion on what I should do at any particular time. However, I've already done Riddle Ed, Heidi, Rinder, Sella today. So I thought we'd do either Lollygox and the Beef Rares.
Yay!
You like that idea?
Yay.
I could do Parunzel. Oh, Parunzel. You like Parunzel? All right, we'll do Parunzel. Well, we came to that conclusion really easily, didn't we? 40 shades of green.
Yes!
40 years of Celtic music. North Texas Irish Festival, all right. So they play all that. Now all of these people right now are going, he really plays that. Oh my gosh, it's not just a prop. Of course, then they'll also play. But really, I keep thinking I should rent myself out as a personal soundtrack. Right, so that when somebody walks into a room, I can go. Or if somebody's going too slow in front of me, I do this. In case they don't take the hint, and then I'm ready with. That's just for those people in the far left lane on I-35. All right. Whoa. Yes, I'm not really an entertainer. I'm just a driver. That's how I get from one place to another. All right, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Zilch, and I'm going to try and teach you people how to leak in a different language. Good, glimmers of recognition. I'm never quite sure what to make of when the entire audience goes. At Tunheimer or other, I would venture a guess that most of you meeple have whirled your turds around. Am I right? Yeah, it's not unusual. No, really. Post meeple at Tunheimer or other will make an inconvenient mistake and say something embarrassing like philosopher. I'm not under the alka-fluency alcohol. Guy, Polly, my breedometer must be spoken. I was at that Fenteron festival eating a lurkey tank, but my fresh men kept dropping off my tinky. I didn't know it was a glottimless bass. Now, when you do something like that, that is called a spoonerism. The reason we call these things spoonerisms dates back to a real live dead guy. Yes, his name was Reverend William Archibald Spooner. Reverend because he was an Anglican priest. Do you know that term? Anglican, Church of England, Episcopalian, Catholic Light. All of the ritual, none of the magic. Whoa, that meant something to somebody. A few years ago, a guy in the audience told me it was Catholicism for people who flunked Latin. Well, Reverend Spooner was an Anglican priest. Don't worry, there will be more dubious theology later on. He was an Anglican priest. He was an Oxford Don, which I think we could safely translate. Did I just get a rim shot? Oxford, we could translate that to college professor. He taught theology at Oxford University for, I am told, in excess of 6 decades.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, he had this one little quirk. Every once in a while, he'd look out over his flock, and he would say things like, "The Lord is a shoving leopard." Or he would turn to some lady in the front row and say, "Martin be Padam, but this pie is occupied. May I sew you to another sheet?" Supposedly he once closed a wedding with, "It is now customary to cuss the bride." Allegedly, he once toasted Her Majesty by saying, "Let us glaze our asses to our queer old Dean." Now, he did this sort of thing so often that his students coined the term a spoonerism. And if you'll forgive me, I'll be educational for just a brief fleeting instant. I'm so sorry. Every once in a while, the people out here feel they got to tell you something educational. And I know that really, oh no, it's bad enough that Mom brought you to a talking show. But here's the educational thing, I'll make it quick. The ancient Greeks called it metathesis, or the art of switching. There, good. Now, if you can hang on to that, it could possibly win you a game of Trivial Pursuit someday. And if you can remember that long enough to get an English teacher, you might get some extra credit. You aren't excited by extra credit? No. Do you want an easier way of getting extra credit? This is no. Okay, never mind. Fine. I won't be educational twice in a row. That's just too much. Instead, we shall do parunzel. We talked this over briefly. Parunzel is the stewest of minorities. It can be just a smidge, a titch, ever so slightly. Really, I wouldn't worry about it. But some people might find it edgy. Yeah, maybe a little risky. Not risque, all right? I don't do risque. Try not to look disappointed, all right? I've been thinking about this, and I am 64 years old, and there's really no market for it. Yeah, I know. Someone out there's like, Santa Claus. No! But I am paying attention, so when I see that look coming out of the audience, and yes, I can see you. I can even see the lady facing the wrong way, who has no idea that I'm talking about her. Yep. So goes my life. All right. But I can see those people too, and which means I am totally aware when I see that look that goes, oh no, heavens forfend, the young person sitting next to me is going to understand too much. Rest assured that if you or your child have not yet gotten through 7th grade, watching my show is a lot like watching NASCAR. Turn left! Spent 8 years yelling that at Congress. Oh, look who paid attention in civics class. If you are of delicate sensibility, all I will ask is why? Why would you go out of your way to come find me? There's got to be a juggler out there you can torment. Or you can sit with those people in the back row and face away. All right, let's get started on Parenzal. Parenzal starts out with her poo-terrants. Her poo-terrants of your father and mother, who are a poor cudwater. All right, do we all stand around cudwater? It's like a jumberlack, only without the channel flirt. Okay. Yeah, a guy with an igbax who goes around dropping down cheese. A ball punion. An environmental terrorist. A guy who discovered Nebraska. What, Nebraska? You know, penance for wanting to go to Colorado. Oh, okay, that's the sound of people who've actually driven Interstate 80. Yeah, all right, if you've never driven I-80, it's much like this. I'll do a little North Platte mime for you. It goes like this. It goes. So we have a poor cudwater. He's got a Wagner Prife. Right? That means she's got an onion in her bobbin. She's in a Wammerly Fay, chafed with griled, pensily dopulated. Really regretting that tattoo. Yeah, it started out a butterfly, but now it's more like a pterodactyl being killed by lightning bolts. It's hard to tell what it is. It's going down in flames. It's circling a drain. So, we have a poor cudwater, a Wagner Prife, and this poor pupple, heaven allows, right next door to a wuggly old itch. But this wuggly old itch has a thin grum. Right, and that means she's got a nice pardon gatch. A vegetable vatch. She's got some price knops. She's got lots of V-greasy vegetables that are iron, holic acid, and good for weight improvement. So there. Now, the warpife, the warwoman, she dents her space, wearing out her stindo, having these terrible tavings, until finally she can land it no stronger. She has her grusband, and she says, "Pissenluster." Yeah, she kind of morphed into Jesse Ventura late in her pregnancy. It's a conspiracy. Just looking for expatriate Minnesotans. Says, Bisonluster, you better seal me a stallard, or you're going to be keeping on the slouch for the rest of your life. Well, the whore husband, he knew that it was gestational ingenuity. But he was at the rend of his zoke. Against his jetter budgment, he got down on his knees and he went geeking into that snartin'. Well, just as he started licking her penis. We have arrived at that part I warned you about. Figured that out, did you? And there's more. Suckle your beat belts. Hatten down your batches. Duct tape the children. I just find that to be an effective parenting tool. Oh, come on, a ceiling fan, a roll of duct tape, and a small child? Hours of entertainment. My girls are going to be astronauts. You've never done astronaut training? All right, Eddie. Here we go. Just as he started licking her penis. Pick your lettuce, for God's sake. Did I get another rim shot? I don't think the bartender has me timed right. Anyway. Oh, now I'm stuck there just as he started licking her penis. Once I had a little kid right in the front row. What's a penis? Anyway, just as he started licking her penis, the ugly old itch comes whirling out of her stouse, and she is mopping head. She's yeaming at the scrub of her tongues. She's yelling, "Who's peeking through my snatch?" You think you're excited? Now that'll give you a hail fart attack right here. But so far I'm not seeing any porches or pitchforks. Sound the all clear. We're moving on. Now the whore husband, he naps to his trees. He's doubling in the girt. He's yelling, "No, no, don't turn me into a toot." Okay, he's turned around and turned me into a toot. We're talking crimey little sleeter about this long, maybe? Kind of like a malisander, draws on the crown, leaving a trimy slail, and if you pinch its butt, its fail falls off. Yeah, and that weeps giggling. And then it bows grack. And then it tries to sell you insurance. No, no, don't turn me into a toot. All right, says the ugly old itch. You grab your stabling, I shall pick titty on you. Yeah, I missed that one in the editing process. She says, I shall not turn you into a toot if you give me your churst foreign bile. Now, this is some barred bargaining here. No, really, I mean, this is going to be his ugly little snavy. Right now, I'd like a bean-aged toy. You take your Peggy Vance and rip the hode, Mr. Man. And put your frat on hunt words, too. This is going to be his ugly little snavy. But that whore husband, he was shared skitless. Somebody tell me I said that right. Good. He started stinking. He realized he was going to be keeping on the slouch for the rest of his life. He wanted to be a booming hing. He says, okay, bake the tabby. Well, that's going to go over big at home. But he hoes go. In a double case, their biled is chorn, and he and his war pipe are bugling their snavy. When the ugly old itch laps up in that riving poom, babs that gravy, and pissed ears. Now we hump a jet. Yunty beers go twy. The biddle lady was a gittle lurl. The ugly old itch has named her Parenzal. Yeah, Parunzel. Probably because Moonbeam and Rainbow had been taken. Can I ask everybody a question? Are we all experienced festival goers? Mm-hmm. Now, I know this. Some of you might be new this year, but have you had a chance yet to go in the shops, linger a while, hang out just a little bit, maybe get to know, for lack of a better term, us? Have you noticed that a few of my colleagues have been hit a little hard with the druid stick? This is a true story. This really happened. Several years ago, I was at a Renaissance-themed event, very much like this one, that was at the time closed, right? We were done for the day. Audience was all gone, sun was going down on Renaissance land, and the participants, right, many of them were out in the parking lot trying to start their cars by chanting and waving crystals. Well, I drive a Taurus, but my ignition system is a Sagittarius. You can imagine the conflict. You think I'm kidding. Hey, buddy, do you need a jump? No, I've got an amethyst. I heard screamed, and I mean screamed, across an empty Renaissance festival. Echoing off the buildings, I heard this: "Serenity, serenity, you're really pissing me off." I was confused. I thought, oh no, a meditation has gone bad. Quick, call the emergency guru. No, that turned out to be the sound of a mom yelling at her child. Now, of course, you can name your kid whatever you want, but naming your child Serenity will not stop you from having a 2-year-old. I don't want to frighten any young parents or anything, but my girls are now 21 and 22, and Serenity has yet to visit our house. Now, a few years after that, I heard a kid with a great name. He was right over by the Pasta Palace, over in that corner of the festival, and I would love to say I was standing there minding my own business, but of course I was paying attention to other people's conversations. Intruding on the affairs of others, which I do very well. So this little guy, about a year and a half, at most, year and a half old, he was running, doing that, still in diapers, and doing that toddler run that's mostly bouncing, right? So this little guy went running by me, and his mom, being a good mom, was in hot pursuit. She was running after him, and she was yelling, "Chase! Chase! Come back here, Chase!" I thought that was worth repeating. So I put it in my show. Turned around, went to a stage, and started telling this story. A couple of months go by. I am telling this story now with that part in it. And I changed states. I'm somewhere 1,000 miles away from here. And I say this part of the story, 2 little boys right in the front row, all of a sudden pop out of their seats and gasp. And I thought, uh-oh, I have struck a nerve. This can only be good. They turned out to be brothers, and they were named Chase and Chance. Yeah, the next one was going to be named Oops. But wait, there's more. Fast forward a decade. Right in the front row of yet another Renaissance festival. I'm saying this story one more time. Get to the Chase part. Little guy in the front row. So I walk over to this young man, about 10 years old, and I say, "So your name is Chase?" "Yes." "Is your brother named Chance?" "No." "Do you have a brother?" "Oh, yes." "What's his name?" "Dash." So I had to ask what I thought was the next logical question. "Are you track stars?" No. That's a missed opportunity. I mean, if you're gonna name your kids Chase, Chance, Dash, and Oops, they ought to be a relay team at least. Don't make Oops the anchor. All right, fast forward a little bit more. Hey, anybody here familiar with online schooling? Yeah, I know. It's now the after times. Well, in the before times, a few years back, my younger daughter was signed up for an online school. So with online schooling, as you now know, you have classmates and teachers that you rarely, if ever, get to meet. Well, this online school decided to throw an offline ice cream social. Well, you see, an online ice cream social wouldn't be any fun at all, and you'd have to keep cleaning lick marks off your screen. So we go to an ice cream parlor somewhere out in bleakest suburbia, and we go to this ice cream social, and we meet other parents and teachers and kids. We're having a great time, and just as this event is about to wrap up, one more family comes walking in. It's a mom and 3 little boys, and within seconds, my wonderful, enabling, snarky daughter is tugging at me. "Dad, hey Dad, Dad, see those 3 little boys over there?" "Yeah." "They're named Epic, Legend, and Inspire." Yeah, no pressure there. I didn't smell any patchouli when they walked in the door. Around here we call that "oh to old hippie." So we had to leave rather quickly because you can actually hurt yourself rolling your eyes. All right, one more, and this one is ripped right out of the tabloids. And I'll apologize now. For this one, you have to think like I do. Now, when I say think like I do, I mean I need you to think in spoonerisms. You don't have to join my lefty pinko communist conspiracy. Well, unless you really want to, and then I'll put you on the mailing list. Because what's a conspiracy without a mailing list? I keep trying to join Antifa, but I cannot find the clubhouse. All right, out there in celebrity universe, about 16 years ago, there was a birth, a blessed event. 2, Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt. Last name Pitt. Pitt, Pitt, Pitt. Now that's an important point. Pitt, 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 Pitt. You're already there, aren't you? Can you tell me what did they name their child? Anyone?
Shiloh?
Shiloh. Shiloh Pitt. Now, think like I do. There we go. And I will admit that I absolutely love watching it dawn on people. Yeah. Now, what were these people thinking? Did they learn absolutely nothing from the career of poor Forrest Tucker? I'll give you a minute on that one, too. Do they wake up in the morning and say, never fear, our child will never go to middle school? People, when you're having children, you know ahead of time, right? Why is not the entire audience doing this? I mean, come on, folks, there are warning signs that are very readable. Even I know this, I've had kids. Fine, my wife had the kids. I was involved. I was right there holding the leg saying, honey, you ought to see this. That probably should have remained unsaid. But we knew 7.5, almost 8 months ahead of time, something's coming down the chute here. I should rephrase that one too. But that means that everyone has enough time to do some negotiating, right? Get a little list together, a list of viable alternatives. Take your list, go out in your backyard, and shout names across the neighborhood. Like you're calling them home for dinner. First of all, it eliminates the ones you can't pronounce. And I know you're probably, well, why would I name my own child something that I cannot pronounce? I have no idea, but I swear, people around here, they name their kids with a Scrabble game. XQRZ. Ooh, look at all the points we get. Oh, there goes little Apteryx now. You should meet his sister, pneumococcus. And if you test drive them first, it won't be you out in a public place yelling at your child, and I'm sorry, but if you think you'll never yell at your kid, try taking them to a Renaissance festival. But you could be yelling at your child and yelling things like, charity, charity, give that back. Patience, will you wait? Innocent, I know you did that. Oh, where's Faith? Who's watching Faith? Faith, Faith, Faith. Great, we've lost Faith. And hope went with her. Mercedes, slow down. Lance, will you quit poking your sister? Destiny, where do you think you're going? And my absolute favorite, Chastity, do not put that in your mouth. And now, back to our regularly scheduled program. Anybody remember what it was? Oh, good, we'll do that one. All right, so Parenzal is now a beautiful maiden, and Parenzal has been tucked up in a lower. Okay, that's like a ball tilting that has no whores. She dens her space, homing her care, which is blong and land, and minging celodies of a wingle sindo, trying to make money on TikTok. Until Dunway, a pransomits is out falloping through the forest. Falloping through He's riding a horse in a very manly way. The Pransom Hits is out infecting his lather spans. With what we don't ask. He hears the pitiful binging. It's coming from that ball tilting. So he decides to bite in some hushes and why on the spindo. There he is. He's leaking through the peeves. Well, he's been on that horse a long time. When he sees a wuggly old itch come focking out of the forest. Well, come on, you fawked in the forest before. It's not really a story without a good fawk in the forest. It's not like we're in Arizona where those poor people have never fawked in the forest. At least not without Band-Aids and needle-nose pliers. Well, I'm from Minnesota. There, the northern half of the state is set aside just for fawking in the forest. Yeah, they sent church groups and Boy Scouts up there. Some of them bring canoes. So the wuggly old itch comes fawking out of the forest. She goes to the top of the bower. She looks up at the window and she says, "Parunzel, Parenzal, hat down your lair, so I may stime that clothing gare." Well, nutty woe, this hong lawn Blair comes wanging out of the window. The wuggly old itch habs that grare, lines it like a clatter, walls in the crindo, and pissed ears. Well, this makes the Bradsomits killy-rurious. He continues baiting in the wushes. Lonely guy, our prince. He sees the wuggly old itch, wall out the crindo, hime down the clare, and of course, go fawking off into the forest. He goes to the top of the bower, he looks up the window and he says, "Parunzel, Parunzel, let down your standards." That never worked for me in high school. The hong lawn Blair comes wanging out of the window. He habs the grare, he himes up the clare, he walls in the crindo. There is a beautiful baitin'. "Oh," he says, "this is my ducky lay." Affleck. Now, you would think that Parenzal, never having seen a pranksome hints before, would be memeing strutty blurter. Maybe even sapping him with a slow lute for sexual harassment. But no, this is a Terry Fail, and he is a frictional Fitz. Aren't they all? They start to flay in pissy case, right there. Right there at the bottom of the tilting, they're flopping swoods. But are they looking out the window? No. I mean, if you're going to be waking Muppy with a Wayne Strumman, you got to take a leak out your window one. See if it's freezing. You got to take a week out your pindo because that wuggly old itch, she puddliest ears in the frindo Wayne. She is mopping had. She grabs that grints. She whucks him out the chindo. He brawls in some fushes and he atches his scriballs. Well, really, he just cocked out his non-tax. But he was blind as a blat. He went thundering off into the forest, living on a diet of butts and nirries. Then she paps Parunzel, hates her shed, and stuck her in the forest. That's how I lost my job at Fuddruckers. She goes wandering through the forest, living on a diet of toots and roobers. And that's how it goes for you upper like ears. Butts and nirries, toots and roobers. Butts and nirries, toots and roobers. Butts and toots and butts and toots and butts and toots and butts. Butts and toots and butts and toots and butts. It's a dihybrid, it's totally organic. But then, yes, I'm really only 12 years old. But then done way by Chucky Lance, Parenzal, and the Bradsomits face meat to meat. Yeah, blowing the vegetarian diet. Parenzal is most soothed by the Bradsomits' starry state. She eyes on his cryballs. Her talty sears wheel his wounds. Okay, she counted his contacts, tucked to his cheeks, and oaked him in the pieballs. Doink! His state was restored. They took leap into each other's thighs. And then they hissed, Kong and lard. And when their pips linily farted, they houted his morse. Both of them. And he hooker tone to Pete his merits and see his pantsy phallus. Which was expensively decorated. Little bags and flatters. Oh, good Lord. And there they hit! Happily after ever. Yay! And now, of course, my favorite part of every show, the part where I grab my hat and ask for dough. Subtle, huh? Oh, I popped my drink, I did. Thank you very much. You have been a lovely poop of people. I would love to take you home with me, but you won't fit my luggage. Now's your chance to help this liberal arts major stay on the streets and keep out of the restaurants. I'm going to go conveniently to the back where I can conveniently block your exit. Coming up next is the Gwendolyn Show. Stick around if you can. I think you'll like her. In the meantime, class dismissed.
Thank you.